हेलो जी मेट्स। तो मैं आज आपके साथ लेके आई हूँ विंटर 2019 का पेपर। और ये 50 मार्क्स का होता है और इसको पास करने के लिए आपको 17 मार्क्स चाहिए। It is a zero credit subject, so don't worry, you just need to pass it. Okay, so the first question is, discuss the meaning of the constitution and why it is necessary for a country. What is constitution? It is a set of rules and regulations that prescribe the structure and functions of a government in a specified territory. It provides foundation of government, structuring the political organizations and guaranteeing individual and collective rights and freedoms. Constitution is basic law of state, system of integration and organization of norms. Third point, organization of government. Okay, now the second part of the question number 1 is why it is necessary for a country. So, the necessity for the country is basic rules, rights, duties, directives, and citizenship. So, basic rules. It has the basic rule on which the democracy functions. It guides in functioning of a democracy. Rights. It defines the right of a citizen over state and other persons. Duties. It determines the duty of the state and also the duty of the individual with the country. Directives. It contains the directives of the government to make law determines and the territory of the state and country. Citizenship. It determines the various provisions for gaining and losing citizenship of the country. So the question number B is, if you are to take a pledge to abide by the four fundamental rights on the Independence Day, which four duties according to you are the most important ones and why? Okay, so I will be stating few of the duties. Okay, to abide by the Constitution, to uphold and protect the sovereignty, unity, and integrity of India, to cherish and follow the noble ideas which inspired our national struggle for freedom, to safeguard public property and abjure violence. Fifth, to protect and improve natural environment. Sixth, to value and preserve the heritage a rich heritage of the composite culture, and seventh, to promote the harmony and spirit of commonhood. In this question, you have been given 7 points. You can choose any 5 points and describe those points according to your words. Okay, if you are writing to abide by the constitution, then you need to write that we need to abide by the constitution for the peace of the state or the peace of the nation. We need to abide by the constitution. If we go above the court, then there will be no level of one justice. Those can be the points which you can form. Okay, so you can choose any 5 main points and you have to write by yourself the sub points. Now question number 2. It is, explain the scheme of fundamental right to freedom as contained in Indian Constitution. Okay, so we have to write about the fundamental rights. So these are the right to freedom, Article 19, 20, 21, and 22. You can find them in my chapter 4 PDF, particular chapters PDF, and I have given down every chapter's link and PDF in the description down below in my notes folder. Okay, they are all uploaded on the drive. So you have to write about these articles particularly. You can pause the video or you can go down in the description and see that what are those articles, and you have to write them in brief words. Okay. Okay. Next question. Question number 2B. State the fundamental rights guaranteed by the Constitution of India. So these are the fundamental rights. Main 6 fundamental rights: right to equality, right to freedom of religion, right against exploitation, cultural and educational rights, and right to constitutional remedies. All these articles and description for this is given in my chapter 4 PDF. You can visit it for details. Okay, you have to write good content for IC so that GTU thinks that you know about these rights and fundamental rights. Okay, so after writing right to equality, you have to write few articles like article 14, 15, 16, 17, and 18. What are they? And one line about them. Then only you will get marks for that question, because it is having a 5 marker question. Okay, so you can't just write this small points and come and then say that please give me marks. No, they will not give. Then list the key features of Indian constitution. Okay, so what are those key features? The salient features or the key features are: it is the lengthiest and bulkiest constitution of the world. Then parliamentary form of government. Third, unique blend of rigidity and flexibility. Fourth, fundamental rights. Fifth, unique blend of federal and unitary features. Normally, constitution work as federal, and during emergency, it becomes unitary. Sixth, independent judiciary, and seventh, secular state. Coming back to the question, we are going to discuss the question number 3A, which is explain 5 important amendments of the Indian Constitution. Okay, so what are those important amendments? Those are stated here. Okay, so that is chapter 10 PDF. You will get in the description down below. So the five, I have written 7 important amendments. You can choose any 5. Okay, you need to remember the name and number of the amendment, and if you don't remember the year it is okay, but please remember the number. Okay, so 7th amendment is important: states reorganization act on linguistic basis and abolition of class ABCD in the states. Then 42nd amendment, India becomes socialist, secular, and democratic republic. Then 52nd amendment, defection to another party after election made illegal. Then 61st Amendment, voting age reduced from 21 to 18. Then there is this 73rd Amendment, introduction of Panchayati Raj in the addition of Part 9 of the Constitution. 74th Amendment is introduction of Nagar Palikas and municipalities, which is basically municipal corporation and municipalities, or you can say Nagar Palikas and municipalities. 86th Amendment, right to education, free education, and compulsory education for the children between 16 and 14, 16 to 14. Okay, so let me jump to the next question. Relate the directive principles with their appropriate category. So, these are the classification of the principles. The directive principles are classified on the basis of ideology, source, and objectives. These are directives based on socialist principles, Gandhian principles, liberal and intellectual principles. Directives based on socialist principles. It includes Article 38, Article 39, Article 41, 42, 43, 43A, and Article 47. Now, the Gandhian principles. It includes Article 40, organize village panchayats as units of self governance. Article 43, to promote a voluntary information, autonomous functioning, and all. The state shall promote educational and economic classes of the weaker sections, then improve public health and prohibit consumption of intoxicating drinks, and to prohibit the slaughter of cows, calves, and other milch and draught cattle for your own grade. Also, the directives based on liberal and intellectual principles are included in this. They are from Article 44 to Article 51. You can pause the video and can see these articles clearly, and you can read them, write them in exam. Okay, so let's continue to our next question. Question 3A, define the amendment of the Constitution and explain the ways of constitutional amendments. Okay, so first of all, define amendment of the Constitution. What do you mean by the amendment, and what and how many types are there? Indian Constitution is both rigid and well flexible, that is, it is difficult to amend it practically. And constitutional amendment means changing or removing certain article or act as per the growth of the society. It can be amended by a simple majority or by a special majority and by the majority of not less than 23 members. This is how it can be amended. These are the three types, that is simple majority or special majority of the parliament and rectification of half of the state legislature. Now, what is the procedure for amendment? It is initiated or introduction of the bill, then introduced by minister or by private member. Then it is passed by each house by special majority and majority of two-thirds. Each house must appear, sorry, each house must appear and pass this separately. After duly passed by both the houses of parliament and ratified by state legislature, the bill is presented to president for assent. After president's assent, bill becomes an act. Let's jump to next question, and it is explain the right to freedom of religion. Okay, so here in right to freedom of religion, we can go to chapter number 4, okay, where you have this all the rights. Okay, you can go to right to freedom down. There are all the lists of all the amendments. I have given this link in description down below. You can find freedom, equality, justice, everything. Okay, so I will not be wasting my time over here. You can refer it. Jumping to the next question, define Rajya Sabha and Lok Sabha. Okay, so let's understand it by the comparison of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha. The meaning of Lok Sabha is the house of people where people who are eligible to vote can elect their representative by way of direct elections. But in Rajya Sabha, you have Council of States where the representatives are indirectly elected by the elective representatives of the assemblies of state and union territories. Then permanency. This years are 5 years, and this is a permanent body. Then maximum number of members. Then there is 52 members in Rajya Sabha, sorry, 552 members in Lok Sabha and 250 members in Rajya Sabha. Then 25 years for the Lok Sabha and 30 years for Rajya Sabha. Only in Lok Sabha this introduction of money bill is done, and the bill is approved in Lok Sabha and is sent to Rajya Sabha for consideration. Then representative is speaker, and here the representative is vice president of India. Nominated members. Present President nominates two members from Anglo-Indian community if they are not adequately represented. President nominates 12 members from people who special knowledge and practical experience in art, literature, science, and social service. So the next question is classify the role of the local government. What is the role of the local government? So the local government is the people's tier of government and is referred to as council. The community votes in council elections to choose councillors and who will represent their voice. You can pause the video and find out the points of the local government. Okay, so jumping to the next question, let's see, explain the status of President of India. Okay, so what is the, how first of all President is elected, and then what are the roles and what are the status of President, I will state it to you. Okay, so the procedure for election of president. Article 54. The president shall be elected by the members of an electoral college consisting of the elected members of both houses of parliament, where they need two-thirds of the majority, and the elected members of the legislative assemblies of the states. There also they need two-thirds of the majority. Now the president has powers of, they have executive powers. These are the executive powers. You can pause the video and read them. Then they have military powers. Then they also have diplomatic powers. Then they have these legislative powers. Then they have these judicial powers. Also, they have the financial powers. and emergency powers, national emergency, state emergency, and financial emergency. Okay, so the next question is, describe the meaning of right to life under the article 21. Again, about all the articles, if you want to see, you can go to this folder which I've given in the description down below. It all the rules, all the fundamental rights, all the duties are stated in chapter number 4. So you can find out what is the question. The question is meaning of right to life under Article 21. Okay, so you can scroll down where you can find right to freedom. That will be Article number 21. Okay, so you can scroll down and there you will find Article number 21 just in freedom of religion. Then there is exploitation article. Okay, here is article number 21, protection of life and personal liberty. Okay, you can read them, pause the video, or find the link in the description down below and write your answers. I am jumping to the next question because there is no point in wasting the time. Explain the effects of fundamental rights in national emergency. Yes, so during the national emergency, Article 359 allows the President to suspend the right to petition any court of the enforcement of fundamental rights. The fundamental rights are not suspended in their entirely, but only their enforcement is done. Okay, so you can just pause the video. Here you can read every point, and whatever point you find interesting or short, you can write down in your exams any 5 points. Okay, so now let's discuss the reasons for incorporating emergency provisions or list out the effects of financial emergency. Okay, there are three types of emergency as discussed: national emergency, constitutional emergency, and financial emergency. So, a state of emergency in India refers to a period of governance that can be proclaimed by the President of India during certain crisis situations under the advice of the Cabinet of Ministers. The President can overrule many provisions of the Constitution which guarantees fundamental rights to the citizens of India. The emergency provisions are contained in Part this of the Constitution of India from Article 352 to 360. These provisions enable the central government to meet any abnormal situation effectively. So these are the Constitution emergencies, three emergencies: national emergency, then there is this is national emergency, then there is state emergency, financial emergency, and finally the state emergency. Okay, okay, so this was the question about, and also I can show you. Yes, so if you don't want to write those lengthy things, I have shortened it up over here, and you can see this is the short description and the brief description of the same question. I'll show you this question again, discuss the reasons for incorporating it and effects of this financial emergency. First, I showed you this PDF, but it is lengthy. So, for brief answers, you can visit my PDF. This is National Emergency, Constitutional Emergency, and Financial Emergency. So, this is the shortest notes I could make for you to write down in exams. Okay, so just pause the video, read it once, and write your notes and write down the points in exams. Okay, so let's jump to the next question, and it is discuss the views of Gandhian principles in directive principles of state policy. Okay, so again about the Gandhian principles, we have discussed it earlier. These are the Gandhian principles. Article 40, which states organize village panchayats. Then Article 43, promote cottage industries. Then 46, which states that upliftment of economic and backward sections or weaker sections of the society. 47, improve public health. Then 48, to prohibit the slaughter of cows, slaves, and other milch. This is only for this exam paper. I guarantee you that if you write all these points I have stated in all the three papers that I have uploaded, you will get your marks correctly. Okay. And best of luck for your exams on 28. फोड़ के आना, लिख के आना और पास हो के आना, because this is basically a zero credit paper. Okay. And I will be uploading chapter wise important points in my playlist. Please do see it, and also see my other two papers. Previous papers helps us a lot. Thank you. Visit back.